Hey everybody, welcome back live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you're all doing well here on a very, very, very cold Tuesday morning after Martin Luther King Day, after Inauguration Day. There was a lot going on last night. Football's national championship. I made the joke that I heard the national anthem like 5 times by the time all the sports and inauguration and all that stuff was over yesterday. But hope you're braving the weather and getting around okay. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. You can catch us here every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. and then we're on the YouTube and all that good stuff. Our guest today is he's a man I haven't had on since a few years now. We've decided he was back in his college days. He is a Newburyport alum who I first had on because he was like in control of the Port fan section, like the kids in the crowd. And I watched him one day, and he's like a maestro doing that. So then he was a great interview on the show, and now we follow up from time to time. Jaden Medeiros, how are you, my friend?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Good to see you again. I think you said the last time you were on, you were in college, right?
Yep. I was a freshman at the University of New Hampshire.
There you go.
Came down, did the interview. It was a ton of fun. So when you reached out today, it was like no-brainer. I was fired up.
And now you're a teacher here in the Newport. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I've been working in the district for 4 years. This first year as a PE teacher at the Moholland. It's been a ton of fun. I love working with the kids and building the relationships, and
cool.
They certainly keep you on your toes. They make it fun every single day. Every day is a little bit different.
Yep.
But it's a ton of fun. I always knew I wanted to get down in the gym, start moving around, and beat the kids at everything we do. And no, it's a lot of fun. So I'm really happy. I'm enjoying it.
That's why you walked in with 2 gallons of water, right? To keep you on your toes and getting the energy.
Yeah, it starts at the top. You got to teach the kids. You got to stay hydrated. I got to be doing it myself.
Absolutely, very cool. Well, very good. So, did you know even in college you wanted to come out and work with kids?
I always knew I wanted to get into sports and coach, and I didn't really know I wanted to be a teacher, but I kind of figured I'd always be back in Newburyport and kind of giving back to the community that gave so much to me and provided me with such a great time. And so I came back after UNH, worked as an instructional assistant at the Moholland and for 3 years, and like I said, just started as a PE teacher. So it's been going great. I love it, and I'm coaching as well. So I'm coaching JV2 soccer. And
a sport you didn't even play.
Didn't play soccer. I learned a lot from Coach Blue. Shout out to Coach Blue. He's taught me a lot. And
Sean Blue, right?
Sean
Coach
Blue, yep. Learned a lot from him. He, kind of how to run a program. And he's a great guy. And then I'm working with the baseball team as well, up at varsity, and with Coach Jordan, and getting in year 2 with that, and we're excited for the season to get going.
Nice. That's funny to hear you say that, because I remember some people that were just super into a lot of the high school activities when I was even in school, and it didn't surprise me when they kind of ended up there in some role or fashion. And you kind of knew even when you were going here, like that's I could see myself working there someday.
Yeah, always kind of knew. I baseball guy and was going to all the sports and knew I wanted to coach and didn't really know I was going to teach, but kind of fell into it, and I love it. So I wouldn't change anything. Awesome.
It's it's a very cool thing. I think I'm trying to remember. So you graduated what year?
2017. Just a couple years ago.
I know you're joking. That's yesterday. You're a young man. Does it seem like a while to you though? When you?
It does. I think especially when you kind of come back and you go to school and you circle back in the hometown. It definitely feels like a while ago, but. Everything, it's kind of still the same.
I was going to say, is it most of the same? Because like my school, Danvers High, when I live in Danvers again, but the school has completely changed. Like it's unrecognizable. Newburyport is still mostly the same, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of the same teachers are still there. So like I'm now coworkers with teachers I had, so it makes them feel really old. So I kind of like to.
They're like, we hired this guy.
Yeah. No, I know. It kind of busts their chops and be like, hey, you're still here. But no, and it's really cool, seeing all the coaches I had and teachers I had, and now, being on the other side of it and working along those people, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. How about do you notice like a generational change? Is that already like all the kids doing the same stuff you guys used to do?
Pretty much, still trying to get away with the same nonsense that we tried. And, I'm telling them, like, guys, I'm not that old. I'm 26. Like, I tried that, like, not too long ago. So, it's tough for, them to pull anything on me in class. But, we have a lot of fun, keep it light. But, we learn some stuff as well.
This seems random, but I had Molly Hogan, the trainer, in. And she told me like one big change she sees is like everybody, and she says like everybody does energy drinks.
Yeah, so first off, shout out Molly Hogan, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, everybody loves Molly.
She just does so many great things for the high school and the student athletes, so quick shout out to her. But yeah, I'm not a big energy drink guy. I get my one coffee a day in the morning and kind of just let it roll.
And kids don't really do coffee. I remember dabbling a lot with coffee in high school. I guess kids aren't doing as much of that. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really liked energy drinks. Tried, a couple, and I was like, not really for me. But I'll stick with my coffee and get my dunks every morning and
your gallons of water.
And my gallon of water. That's all I need.
That's right. I used to one of the star soccer players. A good friend of mine used to walk around class with a jug of water and would just refill it all day.
Yeah, gotta stay hydrated.
It's he would have more water, and I was like, man, it probably is the best thing for you. It just keeps cleansing the system, right?
Yeah, 100%. No, I try to go through a gallon a day. Some days better than others, but that's the goal.
Yeah, is that you actually try to set that goal?
I try to. I tell the kids to drink a lot of water, so it's like if I'm not doing it, it's tough to expect them to follow suit.
It's like my mother, sunscreen and water. Those are her too.
Yeah, two big ones.
Oh man, what would you say is the biggest change you notice? Not like personnel, because teachers change and all that stuff. But what's the biggest thing you notice in your time away and now back?
I don't really know if it's anything more of a change, but I think you just kind of grow an appreciation for Newburyport and all the great opportunities we had and great teachers and coaches. And I'm looking at it now as a professional in the district.
Sure.
And I'm like, so many great people around me. Great coaches, great teachers, admin's great. I feel like we have tremendous admin that you can lean on and really learn from. So it's like you don't really think about it when you're in it. When you're a student, it's not like you're like, oh, I'm so lucky to be here. It's more so when you graduate and you kind of come back and you're like, wow, this really is a special place. And I mean, for me, I couldn't ask me in a better situation. I get to learn from really solid, veteran coaches and veteran teachers and really just try to gain as much experience as I can personally and just feel very lucky to be in the spot I'm in.
You get rave reviews from Jim Antonelli, the interim AD here. He tells me they're going to find a full-time AD soon, but it's been all him all year. He's been relying on you a lot, he says.
Yeah, he's really stepped up. Jim, he's done a really great job for us, and student athletes love him, coaches love him, and it's been great to learn from him. I think one thing I really appreciate and respect about Jim is me working with him. If he sees something that maybe I can do a little bit better, he'll let me know. He'll be like, hey, good job here, but maybe in this situation, let's try to do it a little bit differently. And it's just helping me a lot. I always say to, any supervisor I have or whoever may be, look, I'd rather you tell me what I can improve on, because if you're like, oh, you're doing a great job, this, that, it's like, you don't really get better that way.
Yeah.
What I really appreciate about Jim, and he's done such a great job for us, really stepped up, and we're just really lucky and happy to have him.
Jaden Medeiros again joining us here, a 2017 alum of Newburyport, and now back working in the Newburyport school system and coaching helping coach some of the Newburyport high school teams. The funny thing, I think the reason why we first met back in the day was because I was calling a lot of those games, and I would look into the basketball crowd, and you were literally like the maestro in that crowd. You were organizing things. That crowd section is notoriously loud, but there's always a leader or two, and you were the guy when you were there. Tell me a little bit about the Port fan section that's so notorious.
Yeah, well, I think as a middle school kid going to the games, I kind of fell in love with it. I love the idea of going to watch your friends play, and I like basketball. I'm never much of a player, so getting to watch my best buddies play and cheering them on, and I know they appreciate the support. The coaches appreciated it, and it was a ton of fun. So I kind of going to the games as a middle school kid and watching hockey, basketball, football, and the great crowds that they'd have, kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, look, we're going to be pretty good at this when I get up here. I want to make that a point.
Yeah.
Still feel like, we're pretty solid, and they're doing a really good job right now. I said it, I think last year's crew I think that's an all-time crew. I got to put them in the top 4.
The 2024 crew is
last year. I think Duncan Coyer. Shout out to Duncan Coyer.
Right.
I'm good buddies with his older brother. I told his older brother, I'm like, that's an all-time crew. That's top 4. Not quite, with us, but it's still in that top tier. But no, they do a great job, and it's funny working with Jim now. Part of it's crowd control, so I got to make sure they're not towing the line. And I'm tried all that stuff, tried to get as close to the line as possible. But they got a couple of kids now who just do a really great job. I think the cool thing with them is they've kind of taken technology into it too. They have the Instagram account, and they have a lot of kids who like to take videos and pictures, and that's it's so awesome. The videos they put together, and they're really kind of taking it to another level. So it's great to see.
Yeah.
I know it makes high school sports. I mean, that's why we love it. The atmosphere and the crowd plays a big part of that. And
I mean, you could see, I see some of these kids go to the free throw line, the opposing team, and they're shooting into that fan section. And you could just, I mean, I'm not saying they're shaking necessarily, but you don't feel great about them making that free throw, you know?
No, I mean, look, it's funny because I went to school with a couple, went to UNH couple Newburyport basketball players, Cam McCray, Rob Shea. So we would meet kids from other towns who came to play us, and they were like, your crowd, like, it was tough. And one thing they say, too, I don't know, I get this, clearly air here, they say that our gym is a little bit crooked the way it's lined up. So I don't know. I'm like, hey, that's like, you come in and lose, it's like you got to blame something. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
they're
even
seeing ghosts when they're in there.
Even the Newburyport guys have said to me, though, but they're just used to it.
Yeah.
But it is a home court advantage. It's mostly down the other end of the student section, and the wall kind of goes away.
Well, hey, whatever it takes, baby.
You're no excuses guy.
No. It's like you come in. You gotta, hit your free throws, and you don't have to worry about the crooked gym, right?
That's right.
No, but it's a lot of fun. The kids are doing a great job with it. It's great to see that tradition's kind of still going.
Is there like a tutorial you give? Do you have a?
I think you kind of keep that stuff internal, and you kind of pass it down from guy to guy and generation to generation.
You learn as a freshman when you watch the seniors, right?
Yeah, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. You don't want to mess up, especially when you're a freshman. You're way up in the top, and you just kind of learn, every year what to do and what not to do. And we've had a pretty solid, guys leading it for a long time now, so it's good to see it, going.
When you remember when you were in school, what the rowdiest game was it a state tournament game or one in particular?
Yeah, I think my senior year basketball team was pretty loaded. They had a really good year. And
who were players on that again?
Rob Shea, Brian Barry, Cam McCray, Brian Haddon, that crew with Coach L'Italian. So they had a really solid year, and Triton came to town. I think it was the second round of the tournament, and it was a home game.
Oh, it was Newburyport Triton in the tournament?
Newburyport Triton in the tournament. I think it was the second round of the tournament. Triton was pretty solid, and it was back and forth game, and I remember that I've never been in a building that loud. I mean, the whole place was packed. Student sections going back and forth. It came down to the wire, too, and Newburyport came out on top, which made it a little bit better. But
was that at Newburyport High?
Or was that Newburyport High? That was to me the game that I think of, and I'm like, wow, that was a ton of fun. I lost my voice in like the first quarter. We had to go to the backup guys to start the chants, and we had to go to the bullpen. Go to the bullpen, and that was a lot of fun. So that was to me that was an all-time game. That was probably the one I remember the most.
Did somebody actually step up? Do you remember who it was?
Harrison Good was a guy, Joel Scaff, those two guys. That was kind of us three. We'd kind of pass it down. One guy would lose their voice, the next guy would step up, and
that is fantastic.
No, that year was a ton of fun too because basketball team was really good, hockey was good, and so we had a lot to cheer for. But that basketball team was special. It was all of our best buddies on one team, and Coach L'Italian loved it too. I remember one game. We were playing, I think it was Hamilton Wenham at home, and I think hockey had a practice, so the student section wasn't as big as it usually is, and maybe not as loud. And I remember, the team was kind of dragging a little bit, and he looked over and he was like, Medeiros. And I'm like, looking around, I'm like, what the heck? And it's Coach L'Italian on the sideline. He's like, hey, let's go. You got to pick it up. That's not good enough. And I was like, okay, Coach. So we kind of got into it and brought some life to the boys, and they were able to pull out a win. So
the Port fan section gets summoned sometimes.
I always say you come in, it's like we get you 4.5. We're going to get you 4.5 points. You guys take care of the rest on the court, and the Port section will take care of the rest.
And how about, hockey crowds are notorious, and it's a good time to talk about it. Newburyport Triton this Saturday, right?
Yep.
That'll be an electric graph arena.
Yeah, always is. And, it's two solid teams always going at it, and, Coach Amin's going to have his guys ready to go. Triton's going to be ready to go. So it's always a good one. I think anytime those two teams get together in any sport, you throw the records out the window. Guys just they're getting after it and playing and really in any sport, and it's why we love it.
That place is always electric for that game. I had the Triton kids in after the first meeting this year, and I think they felt like this was a Newburyport team Triton I think is pretty good, and they thought they could get them, and they were just devastated after a 4-3 loss, I think it was.
Yeah, well, I think you look at Newburyport's record, and it's not quite what it's been, but
a bunch of freshmen, right?
Yeah, they're a really young team, and I've seen a couple of their games. I really like how they play. Young guys really step up. They play hard, and with Coach Amin, his record, his win total is always so high, and it is so high all time. It could be higher because when he schedules his teams, he wants to play the best teams in the state. So he doesn't really care what his record is. It's like, look, we're going to play the best teams, get into the tournament, be ready to go. And that's something I really respect, about Coach Amin. He's always done that. Sometimes you look at their schedule and they're like, St. John's Prep, BC High. It's like, you might lose those games by one, or, it might be close, but he's getting his guys ready for the long run, and his win total could be, significantly higher. And it's not really something he cares about. But
yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to play Newburyport if they find their way into the tournament.
It's a tough out. It's a tough out.
Every year it is, right? Especially with a young team. You imagine he's just developing them all year long.
Yeah, 100%.
Trying to peak at the right time.
Yeah, he's going to have his guys ready to go, and they're going to get better. They always do towards the end of the year. And that's a team. I like how they play. A lot of young guys, and they're getting better every game.
Jaden Medeiros again joining us, Newburyport High School grad, UNH grad, now coaching and teaching here in Newburyport. What went by faster? Was it college or high school? It's a tough question.
It's a tough question. I mean, I feel like college probably went a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Just because it's less days. You have huge breaks in between. Like, I think our winter break up at UNH is like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And, definitely went by a little bit quicker. But I think for me, I was fortunate enough to go back to UNH and coach the club baseball team up there. So,
cool.
Was there for 3 years, just stepped down, but that was incredible. So I kind of feel like my UNH years were like really like 7 instead of 4. But no, that was a ton of fun. It's like most fun I've ever had in a baseball diamond, and the relationships with those guys, some I'll never forget. And
did you take over the UNH hockey fan?
No. I definitely went to a few games, but I kind of it was weird because COVID happened my junior year.
Oh, that's right.
Senior year was a little funky. So by the time I was an upperclassman, it was like the student section wasn't really there.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, going back and coaching there was a lot of fun. I feel like I extended my Wildcat years for sure.
I forgot. Yeah, that's right. College in the COVID years. It's up there. I was hearing though, like, wasn't New Hampshire kind of? It wasn't as strict as here.
Yeah, it wasn't as strict, but there was still, it looked a lot different than it did, our first 2 years there, and everyone went through it, far worse than what we had to deal with or whatever it might be. But it was definitely an adjustment, and it was different. I think taking classes remote and trying to navigate Zoom and taking tests remote and doing research, like all those things it was new, and we're all trying to just got through it and feel like we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, very nice. You mentioned, speaking of Zoom and all the technology, you mentioned the student sections, like using the Instagrams and all that, because I think you started the Twitter thing back in the day, didn't you?
Yeah,
there was a Port Section Twitter handle. I remember
so
when it was Twitter. It's not even Twitter anymore.
Right. I don't know who started that account, but it's been around for a long time. I think now, I see Instagram videos and reels, and they put together highlights of the crowd and the kids playing, and it's just super cool. Like, that wasn't really a thing when we use Twitter more so to put out like, hey, we're doing like a whiteout or like a beach out, like more themes and to get information out. But I mean, now they do a great job editing, and
it's like little cinema now.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Like, every once in a while, one will pop up my feed. I'm like, this is really cool, and they're doing a great job with it. I mean, it's all about having fun and supporting your friends, and they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, very cool. Again, Jaden Medeiros joining us here, nice enough to join us. You say you stumbled into the teaching thing. Maybe that's not the word you used, but essentially that's what you said. And would you say you love it? You still trying to find your way a little bit?
No, I think, anytime you do something for the first time, first year, you always try to, things, you might picture it going a certain way and it kind of goes a different way. And you just try to, do your best every day and put the kids.
Because coaching, everybody's there. For a reason.
I teach how I coach how I teach, I think. You try to build the relationships with the kids, and then from there you kind of, set the expectations and, put them in positions to be successful. But I think working in the classroom for 3 years before I went down to the gym definitely helped me. Was able to learn a lot about, being in the school district and kind of different expectations, and then you kind of form your own thing when you're by yourself down in the gym. But always knew I wanted to get down there, just, doing activities every day, and the kids, it's just firing up the kids, making sure they're excited and they're having a good time, and I'm having fun with it too, so I love it.
I know you joke about you were energetic and would sometimes push the line like, every high schooler, but do you notice it from now you're looking at it from the other side, and you're like, God damn, that must have been really annoying when we were doing that.
No, 100%. I think, and ultimately, like, I get, you're very passionate about, you supporting your friends. Like, you're seeing your good friends play, and you want them to do well, and it's like a close game. You're going back and forth. Like, I get it. And sometimes you might say something or do something you don't mean. And then you kind of maybe look back, you're like, oh, I should have done that. But when I'm on, this side of it, it's like definitely you're like, oh, did I do that? Or maybe I did something and I was like, oh, shouldn't have done that. But no, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, working with Jim's been great. Learn a lot from him, and just trying to do whatever I can to help our athletics program be successful.
Well, I always joke too, because like high school kids I think you realize it more when you go to college and you do kind of become like a full-fledged adult. And I mean, you're still kind of a kid in college in a lot of ways, but like when you hit your age 26, you're looking back and you're like, high school kids really are young,
Yeah,
It's like,
and you certainly have a lot to learn. You think you maybe have it all figured out.
Yeah,
at that
you think
point,
you know
and
it all.
You go to college and you learn a lot more, and then
Yeah.
you still I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah,
So
me too. I got 10 years on you.
it's a process. I don't know. And I think whatever you dive into and whatever you're really passionate about,
Yeah.
just get into it. Learn as much as you can. Learn from people who have done it before, and just try to. I always say, try to be a sponge.
You must have been that. The fact that stuff, you don't just stumble into those people I was talking about, even back in Danvers, that were like, that I knew would probably end up in the school system. It's not just an accident. You could see them asking questions, poking around, being interested in the school environment and all that. I mean, I can just imagine you doing all that.
Yeah, no, I was probably annoying at points too. When I was a senior in high school, and then kind of in college, you do internships. And so I came back and worked with the athletics department and just really tried to learn as much as I could from coaches.
You did internships here?
I did.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
So I just kind of always been poking around and like I said, just trying to, learn as much as I can. I think everyone, has professional long-term goals, and certainly I have mine, and you're just trying to build on your resume and get as much experience as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say to the... because I'm sure there are people that looking at you and they're like, that's a path I'd like. I really enjoy the Newburyport experience. Like, what would you suggest? Is internships the key? What else would you say?
Yeah, 100%. I think I always said I want to be an athletic director, so I didn't really know how I was going to get there.
So you're really picking Jim's mind.
yeah, sometimes I didn't even know what I'm asking questions. It's, hey, what would you do here? But no, so I always knew that was the end goal, and just trying to get there. Didn't really know I was going to be a teacher, and then kind of interned and was kind of asking, Amy Heath and, Guthrie and Yamin, like, how do you like it? Every time I'd come back and see him, like, it's a lot of fun. I was like, maybe this is something I could do.
Yeah.
So went to school for sports management, did a lot of internships, interviewed a lot of athletic directors as part of like coursework, and a lot of them said, they taught PE, they coached, and kind of did that for a long time. Then went into an admin role. So I'm like, okay. So I started kind of figuring out that was the path I wanted to take, and got into the Moholland school, like I said, as a IA, and was in a classroom for 3 years and kind of waiting for an opportunity to get down in the gym. And, this year, it's year one, and I love it. So I think you really got to find what you want to do, whatever it is, and pick people's brains, as much as you can, and figure out a path that works for you. I think my path wasn't necessarily traditional to become a PE teacher. I didn't, take education classes in college, but getting that experience working in a classroom, and then pass the MTELs and you get licenses, and here I am, and loving it. Get to teach and coach and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is funny. Every AD I talk to, I think almost all of them have been coaches at some point, and you do you take away some of the strategy of actually coaching, because you got to delegate that to other coaches as the AD, but there is a level of, that's all. Your coaches are almost like your team now. It's like, those are almost your players.
Yeah, 100%.
Put them in the right spots.
Yeah, it's important, I think, for an AD to be a coach. You got to understand, what the coaches need and what each program needs, and you want to be there for them and support them, and kind of be a resource and put the student athletes in positions to be successful.
Not necessarily a sport that the Port fan section probably went to too often, but tennis is here. They get the 5 courts now.
Yeah,
it's big news around here.
That's huge. They're building it at the Knock. It looks good. At first, I didn't know what the heck was going on, and then I found out, and that's good. That's great. Tennis programs have definitely been growing, and it's great to see that. I think the more resources we can have for the student athletes is awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm not opposed to rowdy tennis crowds either. You can get out there. It's a great sport.
Hey, I don't know if Jim would like me saying that, but go out, support, be loud, cheer on the home team. And
well, the key is, right, with tennis is you got to learn people get turned off by the scoring.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. Like, if you don't understand the scoring, it's hard to know when to be loud, and appropriately loud, and when to shut up. Because tennis does have an element of shut up now.
Yeah.
But scoring is really not that hard. Do you know tennis scoring?
Can't say I do, but it seems like a great sport. A lot of fun. I know pickleball is growing.
Oh God, don't bring up pickleball. No,
I'm not really a pickleball guy, but we did a couple days of it in PE. Kids love it. So
see, I coach a little tennis on the side, and it's pickleball. I have nothing really against pickleball. People just know I joke about it here, but the kids do get like distracted by it that are there for tennis lessons because pickleball's around you a lot of these times, and it's just shorter. It's like I always say, it's like standing on a ping pong table, and it kind of looks more quick and exciting. And I'm like, I know the tennis is harder, but stick with it. It'll be rewarding later in life. I promise. It'll be rewarding at the end of this season.
We got some good tennis teams at Newburyport too. Shout out to the tennis teams. They're rolling.
Girls state champions.
Incredible.
Years,
we love that. Keep it going. Maybe get another banner to hang up in the gym and keep it rolling.
You guys like those at Newburyport, those banners?
Yeah, that's why we do what we do. So,
what is the one thing you're looking forward to here at the end of the winter? I know you follow a lot of these teams closely. I mean, it kind of like from here on out, it gets like, this is kind of like the tournament push, right?
Yeah.
You're way through the holidays now. You're a couple weeks into the, we're almost out of January. We've got a week left in January. This kind of gets intense now.
Yeah, I think two things come to mind end of winter. I think the tournament and then baseball season. So,
well, you were a baseball guy.
I think those two things. The tournament, it's always a lot of fun. We usually have a lot of teams in the mix, and we feel like we have some teams that can make a run. I think boys basketball is a team that has really high expectations, and they're obviously rolling. And girls basketball is great, and girls hockey, boys hockey, indoor track. I feel like every team is pretty solid, and feel like they can make a run. And then, like I said, baseball is right around the corner. So
I love baseball too. It's a great. It makes you feel a little warm on a cold day like this in Newburyport, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. And I talked to Coach Jordan a lot. We're really excited about the year. I feel
this
like
is the new baseball coach, right?
Yep, he's entering year 2. Ron Jordan.
Okay.
Got to work with him last year. Great guy. Learning from him.
Yep.
Like I tell the guys, I'm like, he's been coaching for like 100 years, so he knows a lot about baseball, and it's been great working with him, and we're really excited for the group we have.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might look at our team and say, they're young and won't win many games, so we'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be fun when we get there, and I'm excited. It's a great group of kids, so we're gonna be a hungry team, and I'm looking forward to that.
Kids in baseball. People have been telling me since I was in high school, baseball was dying. All these sports are going to take it over. Yada yada yada. It's never really happened, and it's America's pastime for a reason. It's got staying power, people, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'll always love it. I know. Yeah. I think it's good too. I think there's a lot of good young players in the MLB. Young, exciting players who play the game the right way. They play it hard, and I think it's cool that the younger kids now. Like I see a lot more jerseys, baseball jerseys, than I was seeing before. Of like Ohtani's like an obvious like one. It's like, dude's. He's not really human. Like he can pitch, he can hit, he can do it all. And there's a lot of great Juan Soto, a lot of great players, and
actually tonight the Hall of Fame inductions 6 p.m. I know Dustin Pedroia is on the ballot, but I don't think he's not expected to make it.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping. He was always my favorite player. That's why I always wore 15 growing up. So I'm pulling for him. I feel like you look at what he was able to do. His championships, Gold Glove,
three
MVP, Silver Slugger, Rookie of the Year. He's
look at you, good job.
Yeah, he's my guy. I don't mess around with Pedroia. But
you know what I heard him say today on a podcast? Actually, he said, all these writers who are voting, and he's going to get enough votes, I think, to be on the ballot next year. So it's not like there's no action on him. He's getting some looks, but he said if he played 14 years and got the injury, Manny Machado took him out. And as Jaden grounds, you can probably hear that the pain in Jaden's voice right there.
Yeah.
But Machado takes him out, and he never really recovers. He said, I've been told if I played 3 just average, below average for him years, that would put him at 17 years, and that would bulk his numbers up to the point where he'd be in. And he's like, I never had below average years. So you're telling me if I just stuck it out for 3 more years, it's hurt. That shouldn't be
It's such a silly thing in my mind because it's like when he played, he was elite. He was always one of the best second basemen in the league, and it's like everything he did, he always played 100%. So he could have went out there for 3 years and played 7,500 games and batted 260 and banged up knee, and that's just not how he did things. So it's like you tell him that it's like not really how he played. I think you got to look at what he did when he was healthy, and he was a key contributor as a rookie when they won it, 2007, 2013. Different role in 2018, didn't play it. Yeah. But he was still, he was helping pitchers out, batters, and it's like he still gets credit for that one. And the way he played, when he was at the top of his game, no other second baseman I'd rather have.
Yeah, he was fun to watch, man. I agree. I'm trying to think who. I was thinking my favorite Boston athlete of all time is Bergeron. He was I got to watch his whole career. You got to watch Pedroia's whole career.
Yep.
It's a good time to be a Boston sports fan watching those guys.
No, it was a lot of fun. Growing up, it's like kind of the first years I remember, like 03, 04 Patriots, like Teddy Bruschi, Vrabel, McGinnis,
Yes.
Rodney Harrison. It's like, as a kid who loves sports, it's what an easy like thing to get into. My dad says it all the time. He's like, pushing him to sports, it didn't take a ton because we were winning, and a lot of like Manny and Poppy, these characters that were so great. And then, you know, a little bit later down the road, like KG, Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo, like it was an easy time. It was a great time. You know, we're looking for another banner. I know we just got one last year, but let's just keep them going.
How many days till spring training too?
Don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know either. I haven't got to the point where I'm counting down yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, when you can see this, you know, it's still very light out right now. You know, it's 3:30 in the afternoon here on a Tuesday. It gets like in an hour. It's still light out. It feels good.
No, I'll take that.
We're creeping.
Yeah, we're getting there. It's one day at a time.
It is freezing out though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cold. No, you wake up now. It's like I don't ski or snowboard, so like after the holidays, I'm like, look, I'm all set with winter.
I'm with you, man. February is the month we can just eliminate. Let's jump to March.
I'm down. I'm down. No, but I'm definitely like, we're getting there though. Baseball season's right around.
No doubt it is. And well, that's a good note to end on then. Jaden Medeiros, man, thank you so much for coming in on a very cold day. We appreciate you. I hadn't seen you in a little while, so this was good. I love catching up with the old timers that we've had on the show here before and kind of seeing where they're at. We should do more of it, to be honest with you. So it was great to have you in, man. And we'll talk during the seasons because now you're around more.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for having me on. Always a lot of fun. Really appreciate it.
No doubt, man. Jaden Medeiros, Maeve Power producing the show. Sarah Hayden, the boss. Who else we got? We got Lily Dissett in the house. Ryan Rothberg, our small but mighty crew here in Newburyport. Who you got? Newburyport or Triton Saturday night?
Go Clippers.
There you go. Go Clippers. That should be a good one Saturday night. The graph will be bumping as usual. Live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. We'll see you later, everybody, next time. Peace.